You don't know what hard is, and it's costing you. You think you had a bad day because your Wi-Fi dropped, because your Amazon order didn't show up yet, or because that appointment you had was running 10 minutes behind, right? Your baseline for adversity can be so low that even minor inconveniences feel like tragedies. By the way, we're all guilty of this, right? Where we just think this is the worst thing, this is so hard, when really when you take a step backwards, it's just a small inconvenience and didn't really make that big a difference. But here's the brutal truth. That's not the world's fault. That's a calibration problem. And today, we're going to fix that.
I don't think you were hard. No matter how genuine I really do work hard. And you should do
Too.
And do why I want to do today.
I'll take it away. These videos are a collaboration. Sourena, who has cerebral palsy, develops the written material, and I present it on camera. Sourena lives with a physical disability, cerebral palsy, right? Most tasks take him twice as long and require twice as much effort and even help from other people, and other people don't have to deal with that sort of thing that don't have the same disability, right? Some things Sourena just can't even do by himself, but he almost never uses the word hard. Why? Because calling his life hard, in his mind, is being disrespectful for the blessings and to people out there navigating other challenges that really are more difficult than what he has. You know, Sourena will say all the time, he sees people saying, I'm stuck in traffic and this is hard, and I've been waiting on hold for 7 minutes and that's hard. All of those things, you know, their favorite coffee shop ran out of oat milk that day and it makes things so hard. Like all these things are just so hard. So today, Sourena wants to dig into the actual damage that word is doing to your results, right? And show you a framework that will completely shift your relationship with difficult things. The brain is not your ally here. Your brain was not designed for success. Your brain, in the most physiological levels, was designed to keep you alive and make sure that you could either catch lunch or avoid being something's lunch, right? That's the primal brain that we all have, right? So it's always looking for a safe, comfortable option. So when you label something as hard, you're telling your brain, stop, there's danger, go another way. And guess what? Your brain's not your ally. So it listens, it complies every single time. So the more freely you use the word hard, the lower your ceiling becomes. This week, notice every time you use the word hard. Just be aware of when it shows up, right? Just be mindful of that. The real cost of mislabeling. When we lump everything under the word hard, we lose the ability to understand when something really is hard or really is challenging in front of us, right? It's just all lumped in together and it makes everything seem overwhelming and hard. You know, calling customer service isn't hard. It might be annoying. It might take a while and be tedious or frustrating, but it's definitely not hard, right? Having a tough conversation with a colleague at work. It might be nerve-wracking. It might be uncomfortable, but not hard because you simply have to commit to doing it and then do it, right? But when you use vague, heavy labels that are just mildly uncomfortable, you trigger a disproportionate amount of emotional and psychological and physiological response, and you exhaust yourself fighting these battles that aren't really battles, right? Next time you say something is hard, get specific. What actually is it? Is it actually maybe not hard, but boring or uncomfortable or uncertain? But name it precisely, because when you name it precisely, you take away the power. The permission of perspective. Sourena's disability makes almost everything in his life more challenging, but yet he's got a warm place to sleep. He's got an incredible company, business, and career. His kids are healthy. He's got incredible family and friends. You know, people that go out of their way to support him. Compared to the billions of people in history who have faced genuine, crushing hardship, where their lives were destroyed, he's got an astonishing life. So yes, full of challenges. But again, if he were to call it hard, he would diminish the people that really are going through these things that are life-altering and just absolutely crushing. But perspective is not about dismissing your challenges, right? It's about keeping them in proportion so you don't burn your mental energy on all of the wrong things. Just because something is technically true doesn't mean it deserves all of your focus. So when something feels hard, ask yourself, on a global scale of human suffering, where does this actually land? Master the art of starting. Here's something worth knowing. A huge portion of what we label as hard is actually just friction around starting. Because once you're in motion, you have a little momentum, right? Once you've made that call, sent that email, opened the front door of a gym, the resistance starts to lower and eventually dissolves, right? Anticipation is almost always worse than the act. Think about that. I'm guilty of this. You ever been so worried about something and through all the process leading up to it, and then you're like, okay, that wasn't nearly as bad as what I thought it was going to be. But anticipation is almost always worse than the act itself, right? We build things up in our minds, these massive obstacles, then we finally start to realize, this is just something that needs doing, right? And I am capable and can handle this, right? So Sourena wants you to identify one thing you've been calling hard and just commit to taking action on it, right? Just one small starting step, right? Set a 5-minute timer. Just begin. When you raise your baseline, everything changes. Here's the flip side of this whole conversation. When you stop calling normal everyday challenges hard, you reserve that word for things that genuinely deserve it. And then when genuinely hard things do arrive, you're calibrated, you're ready, you can deal with them so much more effectively, right? People who've navigated real hardship, illness, poverty, loss, all of those really crucial things, often describe it with a kind of clarity and strength that's just remarkable, right? They've recalibrated. They know the difference between inconvenience and difficulty. That's mental toughness. That produces extraordinary results, and it starts with being honest about what's actually hard. So let's bring this home with 3 things to take with you. 1, your language shapes your reality. The more you call things hard, the more your brain treats them as threats and keeps you from dealing with them effectively. 2, most things we call hard are just uncomfortable, boring, inconvenient, or annoying, right? Name them accurately so you can respond accurately and more strategically. And then 3, master the art of starting. Most friction happens in the beginning of something. Once you start moving, you get momentum, and then you realize you can handle it. So if this hits home, share it with somebody who needs to hear it, and drop a comment. What's one thing that you've been calling hard that after seeing this that you're going to absolutely reframe today? If you enjoy this content, make sure that you download Sourena's ebook, 5 Keys to an Amazing Mindset, by clicking on the link in the description. And also, please like, comment, and share.